Alright guys, and welcome to the next video. This video is going to be a wee bit different from the rest. I had this idea to do like a metal type podcast as I'm a big metal fan. I play music myself and I'm a big music fan. I've got today here my friend Conor who plays guitar and is a big metal fan too. Today we're going to be talking about our top 5 anticipated metal album releases. So I'm going to start us off by talking about a band called Essence. They're a band that formed in and around 2005-2006 and they're all relatively young lads, like 21, 22, 23, in and around me and Conor's age, and they absolutely rip shit up. They've had 2 albums. Their first album, Lost in Violence, was great, had some fantastic songs on it like Oblivion and Blood Culture. However, for me, the excitement builds from the likes of the second album, Last Night of Solace. I thought the album was absolutely class. I really enjoyed it, with the likes of songs like Rwanda and For the Fallen. They're an absolutely really tight band, and at the minute they're probably my favourite metal band going, apart from Testament. A lot of people don't particularly like the vocal style of Essence. However, you know, it grew on me. Anybody that ain't heard Lost in Violence or Last Night of Solace should definitely check them out. They've actually had some high profile gigs supporting Megadeth, I think, on their United Abominations tour in a couple of countries. But as far as the band goes, they're still relatively underground. They've got like a little promotional sponsor label, but I'm going to put all the links for the bands and the albums that we're talking about and articles we've taken references from in the description below. Although we haven't got any title confirmed or a release date for Essence's new album, we've seen that they've been uploading pictures to their Facebook of them in the studio, and they've said that the album process is near done. So it'll definitely be an album to look forward to. So Conor, what do you think of Essence?
I've heard Last Night of Solace, and I think it's a very good album. So I think this is a very promising young band, and I think they will go very far.
Yeah. What did you think of the vocal style of Essence?
I thought it was quite good.
Yeah.
Although I'll admit it's been a while since I've heard it, but I remember really enjoying the album.
Yeah.
Okay, for my first anticipated release, I'm gonna mention a band that has influenced me and who has probably influenced a whole load of bands, and that band is Metallica. Now, personally, I think a new Metallica album is way long overdue. I've waited about 7 years for a new Metallica album. I really can't wait to hear a new one. I'll start off by giving my view on Death Magnetic, their previous release. I thought it was quite a promising return to form, and I hope that this new album will continue to follow that trend and hopefully give us something that will sort of hark back to their 80s heyday with like Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets. Metallica had released a new song last summer. It was called The Lords of Summer. Now, I thought the song itself was very good, although I had sort of felt that there was a load of recycled riffs. Like, near the end, I could hear a riff that was very similar to the end riff of Leper Messiah from the Puppets album. And then there was a bit near the end that sounded like a slower version of the opening riff of Metal Militia. Even with those criticisms, I think that this is a promising return to what a lot of people, including myself, loved about Metallica in the first place.
Yeah, well, it was definitely better than Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Death Magnetic album last week, it was voted as the loudest album of all time by mastering experts, which is kind of funny. But then again, when you hear tunes on it, like I'm not that big of a Metallica fan, but with the likes of like absolute tunes on the album, like All Nightmare Long, you know, you can get that, you can kind of understand that loudness factor that they have.
Yeah. So in the last month, a few articles have come to light about the new Metallica album and it's kind of given us, kind of making us anticipate it a bit more, so to speak. There was an article on Ultimate Classic Rock where bass player Robert Trujillo had said that Metallica are keeping it heavy with the new Metallica album, and has indicated that the album will not be a significant departure from the band's trademark aggressive sound. Well, I think that's very promising, because if that means they've got their trademark aggressive sound, that means we could end up with something that could be like something from the 80s. So that's what I really hope. So does this mean Metallica will go back to their old school style? I certainly hope so. According to Rolling Stone during an interview, drummer Lars Ulrich had said it'll be done in Metallica time. So I'm all too familiar with that term, which means that it could take ages for this new Metallica album to come to light.
Yeah, no parameters in time there.
No, it's...
No.
The problem with this Metallica time is that with the kind of competition between the big four, I mean, Metallica are kind of losing that battle in a way. Because Megadeth, for example, have released 3 albums since Death Magnetic had been released. Also, according to Rolling Stone, Kirk Hammett had lost his iPhone, which had 250 potential riffs for the new album. So...
Well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah. However, when interviewed, Kirk had said that the new album would be super riffy and super heavy. 2 words I absolutely love, riffy and heavy. It can only mean good things. But he said it was similar to Death Magnetic, but different at parts. So I really hope that they're more inclined towards the older albums than Death Magnetic. But Kirk has also said that some albums remind him of Injustice for All. So a mix between Death Magnetic and Justice may be in the cards.
So, third up on the list for most anticipated metal album, for me personally, would be Megadeth. Now, Megadeth is one of my favourite bands. They're actually probably the band that pushed me further into the metal genre to actually listen to more metal. It was one of the first metal bands, aside from Iron Maiden, that, you know, helped me get into the genre more. Megadeth have had some controversial releases in the last few years, mainly talking about Super Collider, the last album they had. A lot of people really didn't like it. However, I found it did grow on me, and it felt like a complete crossbreed between Megadeth's Risk and Cryptic Writings. Now, the new Megadeth album sounds very promising. With the likes of the departure of Sean Drover and Chris Broderick, a lot of people didn't see that coming. It happened very suddenly, and people thought, well, you know, Dave and the other Dave are fucked, basically. And it turns out Dave Mustaine had said that he had sorted out 2 members actually pretty quick, and there was a lot of videos online and speculation as to who that was. And basically Dave Mustaine liked to tease us on Twitter and talk a load of shit, basically, as to who it would be, taking certain pictures of musicians' arms and legs, and nobody could work out who they were. Now we can gladly say that Chris Adler is playing drums on the new Megadeth record, which I am absolutely over the moon with. Chris Adler is one of my main influences as a drummer playing in a metal band. The likes of Lamb of God's Ashes of the Wake album is absolutely fantastic. The drumming and the drum sound that they got in that album is phenomenal. As far as guitar playing goes, we have that new guy, Kiko
Loureiro or something.
Loureiro, yeah, is he Greek? Is he Greek? He's Brazilian.
He's Brazilian.
He's Brazilian. He is a guitar player that has released solo albums and played in bands. Some of his solo stuff is mental. That guy can shred. He is fucking great. I think there's an album, or like an album title that he has. I think it's called Inferium.
Is it like Infermo or something?
Or Infermo or Inferium or something like that. And basically the playing in it is mental. It's completely virtuoso. It reminds me an awful lot of Marty Friedman, where he'll have the fast, tremolo picking and the triplets and stuff, and then he'll break into this like mad crazy solo with like some exquisite exotic scale and like full of feeling. So this guy, he's had a good track record behind him. He can definitely play the guitar, and Chris can definitely play the drums. So it's all down to Dave and David Allison to sort out the material along with them. We know Chris Adler's only going to be drumming in studio. He's not going to be touring with them. I think Kiko will be a touring member. I'm not too sure on that. Do you know if he's touring with them?
I think he is.
Yeah.
I was aware that Chris was only being in the album, but I think according to Wikipedia, Kiko has been listed as an official member.
So hopefully, as long as Chris has the drum charts written out and stuff, somebody will be able to take the reins pretty well. But for the likes of writing, I've a lot of confidence in Chris Adler. We've been told, I think it was the 8th of April, a couple of weeks ago, we were told that Dave Mustaine has come out and said that there's 15 tracks written for the new Megadeth record. And we know that obviously this is going to be Megadeth's 15th studio release. So that's kind of maybe significant in some way.
And don't forget, it's 2015.
It's 2015 too, yeah, exactly. Illuminati confirmed. But no, that'll definitely be a good title to look out for. I have faith in Dave Mustaine. I have faith in David Allison. Megadeth are a great band, regardless of whatever people say about Super Collider. I can't wait to hear this. I think people are going to be kind of shocked maybe by it, considering everybody wanted the Rust in Peace lineup, including myself. But, at what odds? Nick Menza and Dave Mustaine, I don't think are ever going to get on again after the whole fallout before and the shit that happened with the System Has Failed album in 2004. But anyway, title to look out for.
So fourth on the list, although there is no confirmation or news about a new album, but a band which I'm anticipating a new album from would be a band called Savage Messiah. Now, Savage Messiah released an album there last year called The Fateful Dark. It was a departure from what they had done before. Now, Savage Messiah were like a thrash metal band, but with The Fateful Dark, they kind of lent towards a sort of traditional heavy metal sound influenced by the likes of Iron Maiden or Judas Priest, while keeping the thrash elements. For example, there was a song on the record called Hammered Down. I recommend you should check that one out. Throughout that, Savage Messiah's bassist Stefanos Selvetico had left the band just after the release of the album, and now Mira Slama has now joined the band, and since then they've released 2 tracks that you can watch on YouTube. One of the songs was called Sight Beyond Sight, which was a promising song, and then in like a full gig show they closed with a new song called The Last Confession. Now from these 2 songs, I expect it's going to be similar to The Fateful Dark, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Savage Messiah are now sort of coming into their own and developing their own style. With the first EP, Spinning Venom, although I absolutely loved that EP, it was kind of like sort of your traditional sort of melodic thrash sort of thing. Same with their first official release, Insurrection Rising. And then it sort of developed within Plague of Conscience, their second full length, with it developing now in The Fateful Dark. So I think that trend will continue with this band. I'd be really looking forward to see what else they could come up with.
Yeah, they got, funnily you saying what they could come up with, they were featured on a documentary by Channel 4 a few months back.
Yeah, that's right.
Where they got some kind of funding for, like, what was it for?
Was it for gear?
For gear, for touring or something? It was something to do with promoting music.
It was to support, like, the British music scene.
Yeah. But like they definitely are a band to look out for. Like I seen them live with Evil on the Five Serpents Teeth tour. They were a great support band. They were great when I seen them, you know. They kind of shocked me as to how good they were. The other band that was playing that night was called Psychosis. They're a local based Dublin band. They're a great band if you haven't already checked them out. They actually raised the flag for us Irish over in England when they played Bloodstock last year. But no, I'll definitely look forward to checking out the new Savage Messiah stuff. I can't say I'm not familiar with it. I'm familiar with their first EP, but that'll be about the height of it.
Yeah. But anyway, Savage Messiah, check him out.
Alright, so to conclude this top 5 anticipated metal albums list, we're both going to talk about a band that we both love, Testament. Testament released their last album, Dark Roots of Earth, in July 2012.
Yeah.
And basically, they have had one member leave since then. They've had Greg Christian depart with his bass duties, and they've got Steve DiGiorgio.
Yeah, Steve DiGiorgio.
Yeah, who plays a fretless bass, who played on the First Strike Still Deadly album and
the Gathering album.
Yeah. Both great albums. I don't think Testament's released a bad album, but anyway, both big albums that we both listened to. I think you listened to The Gathering quite a bit.
Yeah, The Gathering's really good.
Yeah, it's quite a dark Testament one, isn't it? It's one of the darkest ones, yeah. David Lombardo played drums on that, didn't he?
Yeah, fun fact.
Yeah, he did, yeah. That's interesting now. But yeah, Dark Roots of Earth was a complete game changer for Testament. After the departure of Paul Bostoff on drums, who's now playing for Slayer. Who's now playing for Slayer. Basically, they got in Gene Hoglan, who implemented a lot of death metal drumming and different types of drum styles into Testament's new stuff. Now, basically, all of Testament's songs and the backbones of every song are written by Eric Peterson, and he went off to some castle. Was it Crowley? Was it Crowley's castle? He stayed in some like haunted house or haunted castle where he wrote most of Dark Roots of Earth. It's featured in the extra DVD of the Dark Roots of Earth CD, DVD, like coupled album thing. But Dark Roots of Earth had some killer tunes on it, right?
Yeah. My particular favourites were Rise Up, the first track on the album, and Man Kills Mankind.
Last Stand for Independence for me, Native Blood and Throne of Thorns. Fuck me, Throne of Thorns, what a song. Great song. But yeah, the album was flawless. A lot of people didn't particularly like the 3 covers that came along with, but you know, I didn't mind them. As far as the originals went, 9 songs, 9 good solid titles that were all good in their own right,
yeah.
To be fair. Chuck Billy, of the last 2 or 3 albums, has decided he's going to stick with the vocal style where he blends the death metal growls with the clean vocals.
Yeah, that's a particular style of vocals that I really love. Chuck Billy would be one of my favourite vocalists, along with James Hetfield or Matt Drake.
Yeah, that'd be the same with me. Funnily enough, speaking of clean vocals with Chuck Billy, they had a ballad on Dark Roots of Earth called Cold Embrace. Absolutely great tune, great guitar work, great harmonies, the whole thing, fantastic. But Testament have said that they're very close to finishing the recording process. Alex Skolnick has spoken several interviews about this, the other guitar player of Testament. And with the likes of Testament, since a year after Dark Roots of Earth released, they released a live DVD which me and Conor have both watched. I've got hold of it. It's called Dark Roots of Thrash. Great concert showcasing most of the songs that Testament have, most of the big songs they have, sorry. And yeah, it was a great show. Great sound production quality in the concert itself, very clear. And ever since then, they have actually been touring. They've been touring with loads of bands. They're actually they're in the middle of a tour, I think, with Exodus at the minute.
Yeah, the Dark Roots of Thrash 2 tour.
That's
tour,
right.
I think it's called.
They've done Dark Roots of Thrash tour once. They're doing a second tour again. So particularly with bands playing live an awful lot, and having to communicate with each other and get really, really tight on stage and, have everything down perfect, them going in the studio in between shows, that definitely will show on the album. They'll be full of energy and, they'll be right on the ball. So the New Testament record definitely something to look out for.
You've probably noticed at the end of all the For the Banter and I, the more recent For the Banter and I videos, that there's a guitar song being played at the end. Now, that song has been written by me specifically for the For the Banter and I videos. I really hope you like them. So hopefully this video has gone well, and hopefully if all turns out well, I may appear in another video. Who knows?
Yeah, we might even get a third person next time. You never know. See how this goes. If you enjoyed the video, throw a like on it. If you really liked it, subscribe. Surely to God. You can follow me anytime at For the Banter NI on Twitter and Facebook. And if you want to follow Conor or any of his music, you can get that on Facebook. Have you got a Facebook page?
No. I plan to get one very soon.
Okay, he plans to get a Facebook page, so once his Facebook page is up and running, I'll put the link in the description below to it, okay?
Okay, thanks very much.
All the best.
Until next time, for goodness sake, you forgot that.